Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. We're going to talk some more about transportation. Now, the context for this series, this extension of a previous series, is that we have Pete Buttigieg and Budgie Butt, whatever his name is. He's the new transportation secretary, as I record this, for whoever's running the White House right now. Okay, the current White House administration. And he's, so far all of his stuff is very limousine socialist. So it's not based on reality. It's not based on people's realities. It is based on the elitist, liberal, socialist perception of what other people's realities should be or what their problems should be. And it's backed up by a percentage of elitist, broken people. This is one of the really big things about modern progressivism. Okay, and progressives, we've gone through several phases of progressivism. I've written about it a little bit. I understand the 19th century roots and how it progressed and where we've gone with it. But modern progressivism, while it shares the standard eugenic, utilitarian framework and history of progressivism as a whole, it's primarily focused on brokenness. Not of others, but of the progressives themselves. And now it's funny because progressivism is elitism, writ large. It's elitism done as a political ideology. But modern progressives, while they're very elitist and tend to assume the breakages and brokenness of other people, they tend to be broken. So the people who support, when Pete Buttigieg comes out and says, "It should not be necessary to own a car to prosper in America," a lot of progressives come out, and there's, this is a couple percentage points of the American population, but they're very loud, and they talk to each other a lot, and they really think, especially because they've got media involvement, they really think that they speak for everyone. So this couple percentage points of people comes out and says, "Oh yeah, it's horrible. I shouldn't have to drive. I hate driving. I don't want to ever own a car again. It's demeaning to me. It ruins my life." They're broken. By definition, these are people who think they're better than you, smarter than you, more educated than you, more capable than you, but at the same time, they literally cannot handle the process of making an appointment, going to a smog check, passing or failing, rectifying the issues, and going back to the next smog check. Now, I find it to be annoying. I find it to be just a really bad idea all around. There's, from liberty points of view, from freedom points of view, from economic points of view, it's a whole fucking mess, right? But these are people who literally cannot take the steps to do that. Okay? But they are the elite. They are above you. Progressives are elitists and broken. They're elite failures. I hate to use the word failure in context, and I should take that back, okay? I don't want to use that label much, because it's not that they're failures. Their brokenness is an identity. It's a point of their pride. It's part of what makes them feel special. They are special because they are better than you, but can't do the things you do. So, and now we'll get into the actual video, right? But this is a really big part of it, because Pete Buttigieg is being supported and shaped, and a lot of his viewpoints and the responses he sees, what he sees from people, it revolves around this elite brokenness of modern progressivism. And I think it's very important to recognize that. His idea here of getting rid of personally owned vehicles, or taxing them, or making them harder to get, making them more expensive so that he can fund an infrastructure to do this type of light rail and bus system that rich urban liberals want is not going to help the black urban population. It's not going to help poor people in rural or urban or suburban areas. It's not going to help minorities and immigrants. They want cars. They want the freedom to travel where they want to go, when they want to go, the way they want to go, so that they can switch jobs, so that they don't have to worry about transit schedules to get a different or better job, so that they don't have to worry about transit schedules and locations of light rail for picking out where the fuck they're going to live or buy a house. Freedom, in this context, economic freedom, socioeconomic freedom, social freedom, freedom to choose where to live, where to work, how to work, what to do. Every single piece of freedom here revolves around the ability to determine your own travel. Okay? Everything about this limousine communist. It's not limousine liberal, it's limousine communist, limousine socialist thing that Pete Buttigieg is putting out goes against the individual right to travel, the right to make your own choices, to find your own freedoms, to solve your own problems. And I think this is very important. I think this is actually very critical. And, you know, I need to come back and do another video that goes a little more in depth on the fundamental right to travel, how important it is to freedom. You know, I mentioned that at the height of Roman power and freedom, because in Roman history, the two go hand in hand a lot. Over 40% of the population moved a significant difference, like a couple hundred miles or more, by foot or horse or cart. Okay, there were no cars. A couple hundred miles is a big deal when you got to walk it, at least once in their lives. That is a huge amount of movement. It's a huge amount of cultural cross-pollination. It's a huge amount of opportunity and success, and it points to a lack of fundamental scarcity. There's a stability in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow's pyramid, right? There's a stability of that basic bottom level, the innate security things, the food, shelter, physical security, those levels, to be able to just take off and go move like that. There's also a societal trust element to that, okay, that goes with that. The whole thing deserves a video, and I'll talk about it here shortly. But none of that is recognized or acknowledged by the elite, broken progressives, okay? Man, it's hard to avoid the label elite failures, because that's just basically it's how they portray themselves. They're elite, and they fail at every real task. That's it. It's very difficult, but it's very important to remember. Okay, this is Pete Buttigieg is called some sort of Rust Belt hero or something. You know, he's from a very specific region of the United States that has been industrialized, is post-industrial and heavily urbanized and very small. Okay, these states are small. They are, you know, Pennsylvania's a big state compared to Ohio or Missouri. Pennsylvania's not a big state, you know. It's a small area. It's a very narrow area. It's very condensed, and his viewpoints are a little different. You'll remember, if you've been watching this for very long, that I talked about the libertarian socialist in Massachusetts who talked to me about Penn Station, right, in New York, and how it was the transportation hub for the country. And I'm just like, it doesn't even handle the tonnage of like one of our central transportation hubs out here in the West, just for fucking hay, just for animal feed. Like, he's, you know, this is one of the things with Pete Buttigieg. Now, yes, he traveled overseas to London. Okay, he doesn't. Dude needs to go on a ranch for a while. He needs to spend 5 years in the West not Los Angeles. There's so much more. Even in his area, he misses everything. You can't do what he's planning to what he's suggesting in Missouri and have it work. Okay, Missouri is a very agricultural and dispersed state. Missouri is a lot like what America should be like in a lot of ways. It's a very dispersed, and we need dispersal. Dispersal is a fundamental aspect of national security, economic security, and individual freedom and opportunity. You know, you shut too many people up in too small a place, and you really inhibit what they can do. It's also ecologically very bad. Urban density is bad in an ecological sense, environmental sense. All these arguments go together. But in terms of transportation, realize that we have a limousine socialist who's trying to provide his comfort zone answers to what he would want if he didn't have a limousine, and apply that as definitional aspects of problems for people he knows nothing about. It's really bad and really wrong, and we'll get into the rest of it in the next video. This video, I guess I'm just going to have to, I don't know, elite broken people. You know, the brokenness of progressivism, or how to be broken and an elitist, or whatever. I'll figure out this video here momentarily and put it up for you. Stay sideways and stay tuned for the next one.